Alrighty, everybody. I may not be as talkative this time because I just feel quite bad, but let's make this dress again with my not so berry palette that screamed to be from the 50s. Now I'm going to be doing dress 2, which is the shorter one. Um, because I'm going to make this into a lovely little party dress. So, let's get jamming and let's get going. So the first thing we do is wish we had some caffeine, but we don't. Excuse me. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to Sims 4 Studio, and let's always start with base game so it's fully compatible. Feminine dress, adult, clothing body. And then we look for something that's roughly the right shape. Actually, usually for this kind of thing, I use the base mesh of, please hold, usually a swimsuit with, let's see, one mesh group. Something with one mesh group, because if you don't, then there's a lot of weird chopping going on. Actually, let's start with this. That's not bad. Yeah, because we can mess with that later. No. Wear a basic swimsuit. Or basic nothing suit. Sometimes I'll start with the birthday suit, so to speak. But for some reason right now, I cannot find it, so we'll just start with a full-piece swimsuit. Party dress. Not really a cocktail dress. And again, I always put the F tag in there because I like to do one on the masculine body and one on the feminine body. Okay. So we're going to completely ignore all of this for here. Lot 0 feminine. Open up Blender. Wait for this to naturally pop. Boink. So now we have El Gasp, a body, and the two chops are ankles for if you're wearing medium boots, and tall for if you're wearing tall boots. In the case of pants, that's what hides it, which is why boots always have to be at one of these two heights. But this is just our base. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go look for something that has a similar skirt to what we want. Something just below the knee. Just below the knee. Where in the heck is the music? I can't hear the music. Why can't I hear the music? Because my volume is all the way down. Okay. Anyway, back to the hunt for the skirt. Now this looks promising. Actually, it's very promising. So we'll keep that in mind. This looks like the best though. So we're gonna take this one, which is the white. We're gonna call it base. And as you can see, it's even got the little bows that we're gonna need later. That's cool. Now this one, we do export. Huh, okay. And see our polygon count here, 6,324. We're gonna shoot for that plus or minus 5%. I don't know what 5% of that is, but I can easily find out because math time. Okay, so anywhere from 6,000 on the dot to 6,600 is what we're looking for in our finished product. But yeah, now over here, now that we've got, turns out I'm not going to be needing that, but I will save it for future reference. Why is it not saving? Technology just doesn't want it this evening. So we are going to open up our base picture. And it's got all this funky stuff. Okay, maybe it's not as suitable for our purposes as I thought it was going to be, but we can at least keep the bow. That way we get a nice clean Maxis match. So let's look for something simpler then. Just shortish dress. Preferably cinched at the waist, so I don't have to deal with all that nonsense. Give me 1 second here. Truthfully, that's a good base when it comes to the skirt almost every single time. So we're gonna go with that. Base 2. Yeah. Export. Look on our original, it just has a line at the waist, not a cinched belt, and then kind of a corsety thing going on here. We're gonna figure that out later. Right now, we'll come back to the bow. We struggle to remember everything because I'm never sure which is the right thing. And see how it's funky chops? We don't like funky chops. But, let's see, we're going for just below the knee. So we're gonna cut those out. And then we delete oops. We delete the weird arm chops. I don't have any idea what these are for. Where the waist was. Okay. So we delete all of this. Make sure it's all around. So we're not going to use those. So now we're just left with the skirt with the belt. Take everything but the belt. Experiment a little to try to get what we want. Ooh, first, merge birds by distance. So that doesn't really work. It could be lovely, but that's not quite what we want. Pop the reference. We want something that's more like a flower. That's what we could do. I'm gonna step things up a complicated notch. And we are going to look for something that has the puffy skirt. Preferably puffy and pleated. And it doesn't matter which expansion it's from. So I'm gonna start at the end. Puffy and pleated. Puffier than those. Definitely not amidst the underwears. Not puffy enough. Need something almost nonsensically puffy. This is a nice song. We may find something in the formal skirts later. But you know what? I'm gonna start looking at the kids' skirts. Because sometimes they're puffy. At least they were in Sims 2. that's not bad. That's the same as that big adult dress that we had. Which is still not built enough. Big poofy, preferably with pleats, but if not, that's fine. Aha, the toddler body shape is much better for this, it looks like. Now all we gotta do is find one that's close. So we'll take this one. Call it skirt shape. Export. Default. Append. Skirt shape. Now we once again wonder what the heck is the right one. Because all we need is the skirt shape. There we go. Then we're gonna size the toddler up. So that it lines roughly up. How big of the poof? Yeah, that's about right. So then we're going to vertically scale it, because this is just going to be a visual reference, not an actual fit to mesh like I've done before. Actually, you know, now that I'm looking at it, this bow is even better. But I'm going to stick with the previous one. Then we go back to the adult. I was going to say the human. Make sure we pick the one with the skirt. Hide the other one. Then we are gonna just eyeball match the widths. Oh dear. Because we can smooth it out later. Now this is going to distort your pattern a little bit when you come to making the pattern, but it's fine. And now we get into the funky shapes. Looks like I missed a segment down below. It's fine. unfortunate. It's easier than to try to match it. We just go straight back down to where we were. Ah, I see. Blank. Ah, okay. I see what happened. Other one. See, it's still a little rough, but we're gonna smooth that out. So, right now this is just to get the rough size. Make sure we select all the way around again. Actually, doing it like this won't distort it too badly, except widthways, I guess. But we'll worry about that later. What? How did that... I'm so confused now. Because it looks like I missed the same spot again. Fine. We'll just do it the shrink wrap way. And hope it works out for us. Nope. I guess because the ankles are still in here. So, let's figure that out. Rude. Okay, let's try this again. With only the barest of shells. However, to be best, I need to actually adjust this once again to get the waist to line up with the waist. Like that. And see, we lost some of our poof doing that. bow. Oops. Oops. It's fine. It's whatever. So we can just do this now, I guess. Okay, why is that not global anymore? I hate that. No. I don't remember how I just called up that menu. Was it Alt-N? Nope. Ugh, whatever. Delete the vertices. What? Nope. I'm sorry, how is that level? Because we're still on global, not local. Jerk face. Is it this button? Nope. There we go. Turns out I hit the comma. Okay, now these top ones, we do want them to shrink. So. Because that's going to be our cinched waist. And then these only slightly. Right? Yeah. Okay. Now we're going to try shrink wrap again. Boink. See, now we have a nice poof. Needs some UV straightening, but we can make it work. It's not too distorted, I guess. So these... Actually, let me do that universally. What? There we go. Oh dear. I see. Let's undo this side then. Adjust this until the lines line back up. Like so. Then the side, because I thought I was on the side previously, and it turns out I was on the front. Yes, that's what I needed. Joimp. And again, once the edge seams line up. Yeah, when we put our fruit texture on here, it's going to be a little bit distorted, but hopefully not too badly. And we can always adjust if needed. Yeah, we've got our nice little we'll worry about that later. And we no longer need the toddler skirt. Yeah, and that now mostly lines up. Emphasis on mostly. Well, that's not the view I wanted, but it'll work. Forward a bit, because you always want the exact side seams to line up. And you always need the same vertical seams to line up. Now, for the pleats, I'm going to take the ones that are next to the bumps, the texture bumps, always leaving a gap between, so that's wrong. Sure, I'll do one on the back. Actually, this one needs to line back up before I can do that. That almost completely wrong, it seems. Okay. It's fine. Actually, what the heck am I doing? Could have started with the toddler skirt. Please tell me... I do not. Bugger. Okay, fine. Okay, let's try this again. Was it 9? Yes, it was. I remembered. Yay. And what we're going to do is we're going to delete everything above the waist and the legs and the bow. Well, because it already has pleats. So we're just gonna... It's been a while since I've done an outfit, guys. Like a hot minute. Okay, let's try this again. Rude. Accidentally deleted something? I shouldn't. Wait, what? I do still have it. Amaze. Okay. Never mind. Okay, then what we're gonna do, because you see how it's a little funky here. We're gonna bell this out a little. Bring it up. Bring it up. Maybe not. It's a little better. Subdivide. Smooth. Smooth, maybe? Ah, like that. There. Puffy with a cinched waist. Let's make it a little bigger. Just a little. Yeah, because we did that, the skirt texture is looking just fine. Okay, needs to be more sloped. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna vertically stretch it. And puff it. Actually, never mind, we're just gonna puff it. And then adjust it so it looks right. Needs to be more sloped. So we're just gonna puff some of it. Is this still giving us our texture okay? Kinda. So, okay. We puff a little. We puff a little. Then we puff a little. And we shrink a little. And a little. And a little. There we go. That's better. Still a little sharp up here. So once again, we're gonna subdivide that. Like so. And we're just gonna then we take it over to our tool. Also known as Nano Banana. See, nice poofy skirt. Okay. Now we need to find a top. And again, doesn't matter what expansion. Let me try again with Nano Banana because it's being stupid. Hi! Hi! Visit from Julian. Hi! Julian spotted. Hello, little mister. What you doing? He says, pet me. Then he mashes all the buttons, of course, because he's a cat, and that's what cats do. And Nano Banana's being stupid, so we're gonna do this the old-fashioned way. Gonna take this. Select all the red. Up until it matches. Actually, I can do it this way instead. Take one of the pleated sections. That's the color I want. There, via copy that. There we go. Now we have this with all its lines. We go to Midjourney Editor for the best in paint. Then we squint really hard. Because we need to take out these extra white lines. And you know what? This isn't working. Let's do just the skirt part. So we can do it like this. This usually does a much better job than Photoshop's autofill. I seem to have an allergy-based headache. But that's what happens when you have a cold front come through overnight that knocks out your power. There we go. And while that's working, we continue our search for the top. So, that base is actually a decent enough top. Because we can edit it to give it the shell in the middle. And it's even got the corseted thingy going on. But we still need the straps. So we look for a tank top. That works. As far as I can tell. The problem is you can't see the back. And as you can see... Oh, nope, I was thinking of another dress. Derp-a-derp. Top B. Export. Let's go back to this one, because I forgot to nab the mesh. And we don't need these. Then the fun part. Because see, the two segments don't line up. So... Oh, the skirt is all off to the side. There. Then you merge everything that lines up or almost lines up. Otherwise, we get the funny gaps. Now these aren't going to line up perfectly, and we're going to fix that later. So what's the side of the skirt? Okay. It's this one. And this one. The edge seam ones are always tricky, because there's always multiple vertices hiding there. Oop. Okay, now we got some that have extra edges, so we're gonna go around and find all of those. Select the edge there. Subdivide. Take those and merge those together. But these we merge at last, or at whichever one was the subdivided, because it's already the right shape. There. And now we have a splendid little dress. Except I messed up and picked the wrong mesh for that. It's fine. But we can move those back to where they were. This just happens to be the entirely wrong mesh. Because I forgot that since we need the scalloped top, we can't use the one that has a dip in the middle. So we find another shirt that has a higher collar. Now that's the stuff. But we'll still use the texture from it, so we need like a high collar, something without sleeves. To have some kind of a waist. Not be plumb tight to it. but it also needs to not be floofy out. This is always the hardest part, is what bases do I Frankenmesh from? That's gonna be tight to the body. He is not of the body. All hail Landrew. See, we want one that's not tucked, because the tucked ones are just basically skin tight painted ons. But we want something sleeveless. And with a high collar. That's not bad though. You can just delete the sleeves, I guess. So I'll select that one as our maybe. Actually, that's even better. Maybe it's a little too tight though. But it's fine. Yeah, let's work with that one. And hope it works. When I was saying Landrew. I am, wow, out of it today. When I was saying Landrew, I almost said Eldrad Must Live, which is completely the wrong sci-fi fandom. But here we go. It's because I'm just having a sparkling water. Unendorsed, so the brand shall go unnamed. Yeah, that works. And once again, boink. And since this is going to be sleeveless, we don't need the arms. Actually, let's keep the arms. Because then we're not going to need the arms on the base body. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of cute by itself. The stripes. Okay, let's try this again. Merging at center will tighten the waist on the skirt and loosen the shirt. In case it's one of the skin tights like this one. Oh. Wait, hang on. Actually, yeah, that was right. Now we find those loose lines again. we go. Now we have a cute little mesh, which needs triangulation. Face. Triangulate faces. There we go. Yeah. Now we do that along the bottom. And we try to remember how to do it to where there's a cone in the middle, which I'm not finding. So instead, I'm gonna do add mesh cone face shade smooth, please. Yoink. We make it shallow but present. Make sure this is completely covered. Shrink wrap. Merge it. Then we realized we were silly and used the wrong command. Because what we actually want is the bleed. No, we don't. Never mind. I'm just gonna have a flat bottom. May not make the rockin' world go round, but it's fine. Oh. Because then we can do a bevel. Or an inset faces? Which one was it? Inset faces, that's it. And then we can actually do this. Merge those. Cool. Then we raise this a bit. There. Then we do our texture. So we go back to this. Better. And we adjust a little more, because it looks like it didn't perfectly match. Which isn't going to be so visible on our textured ones, but on our solid color ones, you'll be able to tell. See, some of it was right though. And then just freaking measured. Nope. Wait, actually, hang on. Did the others do better? Not really. Okay. But we are going to open our top, desaturate it. Now to get the scallop, I was gonna say shell strap. I've had a day, Actually, today wasn't too bad. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this bit, copy it, move it like so. And this was a little further up. You put it underneath. Was it further up? It was wider, I know that. It's a little further. Not that much, though. That's better. Let's try this. I know, we're just wholesale deleting areas, but let me open up a duplicate tab, because that's not going fast enough for my liking. And we more or less do the same thing here. Oops. So we don't need to select the entire thing, we just need this. And we have the benefit of not having the back of the dress in the pattern, so we don't have to guess. To try to recreate it. See, that one's getting much closer. Still some trace lines, but we can be rid of those. Yeah, no, wrong tabs. Then we just vibe to the tunes. See, some of these came out real good. I'm trying to decide if I need the back seam. I don't think I do. What the heck? Okay. See, that one's still got a couple of edge issues, but not too many. And I'm sure once this gets brought down to the normal size, they won't be visible at all. But because of who I am as a person, I want them to be very good. I think I'll dispense with the back edge. And we always leave something in the middle. Man, I really want a burger. There's a specific burger place that's nearby that's great, but I don't have the money. Leftover pizza, it probably is. want to be rid of the lines, not add more lines. That's fine. See, now this is darn near perfect now. So we upscale it so that we can get the some of this removed. The pixelation, that's the word. Gosh, I hope I'm not out of it this much for D&D tomorrow. That would be terrible. Oh no. My cats have started messing up my space curtains. Oh, nope, that's not the cats. That's the time I spilled a drink. Somehow I got it on my curtains. Better. Well, it didn't get rid of all the pixelation, but it got rid of most of it, so... Now, go to the UV editing tab, and we proceed to get rather disappointed. Need a different base texture, please. Because this grid is showing way too low. So what we do is we go to texture paint, add a new base color of the UV grid variety. Which needed to be different dimensions. So let's try that again. There we go. And just for now, we delete the other textures. Then we adjust the length of the skirt itself. Until the squares are more or less square. Oh, I missed one. That's why it looked funky. Like that. Ish. Let me figure out what this pixel is lined up to. Ah. We visually line it up to the squares. Look for any other similar aberrations elsewhere. like they're a culprit as well. Actually, now the skirt texture is too big. There we go. That's better. That's closer to being squares. I did notice that this was a bit stretched looking, so we do this. Okay, then we select all and check it against this. Excellent, it goes right down to the knees. Perfect. Then we export UV layout so that we know where everything's going to line up. But while that's happening, we can be rid of that, I think. Oh, not entirely. Because we need to have that little bit of knee popping out. Yeah, like that. So now, it's a quaint little checkerboard. We take this, nope, we take this, and we check the mesh cut, which is 2. We join those and make sure it stays 2, because that's what our base is wanting. Even though they all belong to us, as we all know. Okay, that's... some of those are better. Now back over here, we open up our UV map. Start there. These need to line up, but we gotta stretch it. Like so. Stretch it even more. We delete. Basically, we delete what's not in the UVs here. Then for texturing, we take this, copy it, paste it, flip it, bop it, then we turn this back on. Out. And bring this to here. Because that'll make us a hemline thing. Actually, I don't quite like that. I think I deleted what I actually needed it for, but... Okay. Let's not do that way. Let's take this. Stretch it. Like that. No, it was better the other way. Just like that. And what's in this gap doesn't matter super much. However, that is a little bit of a weird... Let's see, where's that? Okay, that's here. Yeah. Any other lumps? No, but weirdly. Yo. What is this nonsense? Don't understand how this happened. Except these clearly are supposed to go up here. Or there's a missing face. I don't even see Miss Boogie in. Ah, okay. What? How is there a missing face? Oh, is it double-faced? No. Oh, it was double-faced. Whack. So silly. Okay. What we need to do then is this. What? Nope, wrong one. So confused. I think this is supposed to go here, and this is supposed to go here. Like that. And then this goes here? Ah, yes, okay. these up here. Silly, silly. Because then these will line up. Okay, okay. Which means we probably got another similar problem on this side. Yes, okay. Like that? Okay. Okay. Well, that was unnecessarily complicated, but I fixed it, so... Save our progress. Head back over here. Okay, maybe we do that. However, we're done with that, so... Oh, nice. We actually achieved lower than we were aiming for. 4620. It's a quaint little dress. Once it gets lined up properly. I think this one. Now while we're here, and that's upscaling, we're gonna do this, because that'll help us with our masculine frame version. Smoother fall off. And no underboob. Bring back the UV editor. Actually, first, we take away the white background. Then we go here. And once again, we make sure the sides line up. And actually, that lines up as well. So we're going to take the hem, just the hem, and we're going to bring it up to be just in the view. And then we're going to delete everything below that hem so it doesn't interact with the skirt. Then we open up our straps. Put them underneath. Except I done goofed. Because when you copy and paste in Photoshop, it has no idea where the diagonals are. Then I need to remember, this one. Excellent. We delete all these. We extend this downward, like so. Then we erase our corner markers. Yeah. Then we save this as a work in progress because I haven't done that yet, and woof, that would be bad. And then we take from this one, there we go. Now, luckily, this can read PSDs, so what we're gonna do is replace our UV mesh with our PSD, and look at how it looks. Pretty good. Except that the top is too high. But while we're here, we're gonna take this, project from view, and plonk this into the shaded area. Make sure the whole thing fits. Stretch it a little. There. Now we have a cool sim style under, what's it? But since our strap, our little, this thing is too high up, we just simply drop it down. top straps are a little wrong, so we find what the heck layer that was. And just drag it down. Ah, rude. Delete the pink one because I don't know how else to do that. Diffuse map base color. Not diffuse map 2 base color apparently. There we go. Oh. Fine, let's try this again. There we go. It looks like need to bring up the skirt's brightness a bit. So we do that with levels. And let's make that a little. Why? Jerk. Normally it works just fine doing this. There we go. It's a cute little dress. With a floofy skirt. However, it's not quite smooth enough for my liking, so make this a little bigger, make this a little bigger. Then we look at it. That is worse. But that's fine, because I can do this. There we go. Maybe even bring it up a little. There we have. Oh dear. What the heck? This is why you always remember you're working in a 3D medium. This one needs to adjust as well, but not as much. Better. And we got something weird happening here. There we go. It's gonna be so good for prom nights. Now, You may have noticed we haven't even bothered adding the bow yet. Now I gotta remember which one I had. Okay. And yet again, it's a guessing game as to which mesh has the actual bow. Okay, 45. Now, did the bows have little tassels on them? Yes. But not quite the full one that we see there, so... I'm gonna go ahead and take that, but... I'm gonna chop it here. That was too much chop, I think. Yeah. Oop. And it's 408, which is a little much, so let's see if we can bring it down. Oops, first. Bridge by distance. Does that still look halfway decent? Yes. Okay. Excellent. So now you rotate it this way, shrink it by a lot. And we put it here. Boink. Because remember, the bow doesn't have a back to it. Although, with that, we can fix it easily. We need it to line up. just starts to clip. But we need the knot to be what's touching. So we rotate a little. Yeah. Then we take the little tassely doohickeys. What? Oh, right. Because we didn't triangulate the bases. That's fine. And we do it to where it rests just above the chest. Because Sims 4 is weird. There. Now, we fix the UV editing on this. Which is going to be wildly different. Because it's originally quite badly overlapping the dress. We need it to definitely not do that. But we can do this. Bring it over here, shrink it a bit, like that. Like so. Then we take these nonsense faces and we line them back up better with what they're supposed to be. Even just a rough kind of guess. Okay. But now the bows have a funky thing going on. So we need to figure out how to line that back up. instance, this particular, it's not a pixel, don't say pixel, vertex. It's the pixel of the 3D modeling world. They don't have to be perfect because they're the underside, but they have to look reasonable. Because like all this nonsense, that's not gonna look great. Actually, why do I still have the lady on? Okay, those are good. Those are reasonable. That could go there. Because, like, for the most part, this isn't gonna be seen. So it doesn't have to be super good. And there's a way to just make this not a thing, but honestly, finding a way to be bothered by it right now is just not working. Is it these that's off? No. It's these that's off. But as long as they've got the base color, I think it'll be fine. And modeling. Symmetrize. There we go. And you know what? For fun, I am actually going to put one on her back. A little bigger. And just like that. Just to be adorable. Looks like we got some hideaway. Birds. I keep wanting to say pixels. Even though I know pixels is wrong. Okay, why are you connected that way? That's not right. This? It was me. I meshed it. I'm so confused now, because clearly that was the wrong order. There we go. Oh. What the heck is happening down here, though? Like that. And then like that. Yeah. Yeah, that's better. Now we got a bow on the back, 2 little bows on the front. Then we combine them. And voila! Cute 50s dress. But wait, there's more. First, we save that. And see, we're still under our 6,000 budget by a fair bit. So now what we do is we combine all these. Layer mask from transparency. Add mask to selection. And this is where we're gonna do all of our coloring. This, we're gonna bring everything down visually to about a medium gray. I determined that based on the back just because it's easiest. Still slightly too bright. Actually, we want this up to 60. Yeah. We don't want a super bright spot over the pecs, shall we say, but we want it a little bright. See, if I try to do that there, it doesn't look good. That's why I use Midjourney. And it still didn't do great, so I masked to selection. Oh, that wasn't what I wanted. Apply mask to selection. Just at the most egregious chops. Because we do want some highlights. We just don't want any remnants of the prior zigzag pattern from the toddler match. And if my mind can fill in the gaps, that's my criteria. If I'm sitting here looking at the gaps in the highlights and shadows and mentally filling it in, then it's okay. Only problem is flat gray is kind of hard to picture with that. And then we check on our masculine chest. See, it mostly did great. These are a little exaggerated though. And I know we haven't even got our masculine mesh yet. So I'll go ahead and open that. And do the same thing where I just basically pick. Hope it's gonna be base game. Pick something flat topped. Yeah. We'll use the same one, actually. Now we're not actually going to start it yet. I just wanted to make sure it was present. Because we're going to deal with that later. In the meantime, we check to see which of these have the least zigzag remnants. There's still a couple. But it's better. This goes, I'm gonna go grab a slice of leftover pizza because I'm getting a little bit peckish. I'm sure many of you will appreciate that I'm not actually chewing on stream. I'm leaving the mic in its stand while I eat. Alrighty. Now, as you can see while I've been eating, I finally got the masculine top done. So, cool on that. And I got that done too. So, now we go for our lauds, which is always tricky on clothing. But what I do is I leave the edges of the mesh intact. Yeah, okay. Oop, I was not done yet. Now we save it. And you want to split that because otherwise you get weird shading around the hems. But then you unsplit it. Making the lower lod. And again, 0.5. Then you save this as log 1. No, you don't. You split that skirt again. Then you save it as log 1. You undo a lot. Then for log 2, I usually do a 0.3. Except for these parts of the leg. That one's fine. No, it's not. Let's try this again. Because I messed up. What that Discord doing? Oh, people talking about their pets. Which is generally quite a good topic. Because if you don't merge those by distance, when you do your decimate geometry, it's going to actually split skin, and we don't want that. So let's try this again with log 2. Now for the legs, there's not a whole lot to clean up, so for the legs I usually keep it at 0.5. Except I did... Forgot to do the split thing. And this we go all the way down to a whopping 0.2. And we don't forget to do the split C's. That though. It's such a subtle detail that I only need to fix it on lot 0. Because once you're zoomed out to even get the other lods, there's like no point. You won't be able to see that difference at all. I still feel like the top is too much brighter than the bottom. That's better. Okay. Kind of makes a cute tank top too. Okay. Now we save that. Now we do the masculine frame version. First we copy the feminine frame version. And we paste that. And we get rid of this. Now, we delete a few key pieces here, such as the legs, and everything above our waist. Whoops. Wish this is going to select all of it, but there we go. Birds. Then we go back to him, and he's got a couple of pasties, it looks like. We don't. Except we need to keep those same above the knees. Then, just as before, merge its center. Now the part with the bow is gonna get tricky, so we're gonna take the entire bow here and just temporarily move it way out there. Which, this does mean the waistline will be a little small, but we are gonna fix that too. And again, we've got our gaps, so but not too many of them this time. Aha, that one is going to need 2, so. Oops. There we go. Just a little bit bigger of a waist there. And then we take the bow and we just plonk it more or less where it was. Give it a little more rotation. Now you see the chest bows have managed to drift. Actually, let's delete this one over here because we have to adjust this. Once we get texture. Sure. And for the most part, if you're making the masculine frame textures, they do work for children. There's only a couple of things that you gotta adjust. But I don't think we're doing that with this dress. Just because it has the scalloped chest area. And see, the straps don't line up now either. So we're gonna take this. What? Oh. Right. Sometimes one can just stretch it, but actually not with that, so. When you got tank top tops, simply stretching it doesn't really work very well. But I like to try to find the same top. And then completely misspell straps because, sure, it doesn't matter. We put those here. Wait, I did that wrong. Here we go. There we go. splitsy. Add mask to selection, make a folder. Cool. So we're testing the masculine, so see, because now the straps will line up. Although we have to move the bows a little bit. To get them to line up similarly. There we go. Same cute dress. So now we do our lauds. Trust me, this is much easier on a strapless than it is on something with arms. Much easier. Oh no, did I delete too much of leg? I did delete too much of leg. Dang it. Boo. That's fine. This is easy enough to do. Bend. Again with the leg. Ah, I see what happened. Okay. There we go. Actually, one thing we needed to do for straps, but I didn't do it. It's fine. We're cool. Almost forgot to do the splitsy. And that is our meshes done. Let's make sure. I'm going to go ahead and, yeah, feminine choice. Yes, excellent, good. Let's make this one strict opposite frame. I'm going to unrestrict opposite gender, but I'm going to disallow for random on the masculine frame. Feminine frame, I'm going to allow for random and restrict opposite gender and restrict opposite frame. Actually, no, I'm not going to restrict opposite gender. Who am I to judge if a trans woman sim wants to wear a pretty dress, or a trans man sim wants to wear a pretty dress? I'm tired. Okay. Now we look at our reference image once again to see that the straps are in the same accent color, excuse me, as the bows, which means we do this. It's not as clean a circle as I'd have liked. Cool. It's almost the same, but not quite. There we go. Now, we figure out what even is this mesh. Oh, that's one we didn't actually need, I think. What's this one? Don't think we need that layer. And I think that's empty. Cool. Good, good, good. Now we save our work in progress file, because not to do so would be rather silly. Now we pop our color palette. And we want the one I made for CAS. And because this is not so berry, we duplicate it. Because we're going to have solids and patterns. you save that, because I learned my lesson yesterday with the earrings and not saving them. But first, we need our bump map, and for that we use Pixplant 5. It's not free, but it's fantastic. I don't remember how much it cost. I got it so long ago. And bump maps, if you see, are just the lower quarter of it. So we're going to duplicate this state. Yep. Then we need just a plane. Okay. We hide the masculine, merge visible, paste. That's already pretty nice, but I like to leave, let's leave the wrinkles alone here. Just make the very bigs. And changing this will determine how much of a fall off there is. Which I think I want to do it. Yeah, bring down the mediums. Leave the fines where they were, more or less. Let me see, these is DDS. Means you will have creases here. But that's fine. Now as for the specular map, I think we're gonna leave it mostly plain. But we're gonna make the bows silk. So let's give that one a 20. And the rest of it is a 0. That anymore. We don't need Strasp anymore. We don't need this anymore. Don't need that anymore. Don't need that anymore and haven't for a while. Okay. Okay. Spec map. Mbump, not to be confused with Mbop. Shadow mapping, I hate it. So let's get it over with. And what I do for that is I wonder what the heck. I take this, I invert it. Make a new layer. Let's see if I remember how to do this because it's been a while. Center, then I think I give it a 3. Make this an 80. Yeah, and then I give it a Gaussian blur. Then I bring this way down. Except on the skirt. Then I motion blur this one to Kingdom Come. I think that's what I do. It's been so long. And I do this. Set that as our alpha. Then we set our main color at black. Let me study this. Because I don't remember. Ah, okay, that's what it was. Right. Okay. So I leave this here. And then under alpha, I do that. And then here I just test it. That looks so wrong. What? Ah, okay. This wasn't low enough. Because see, we want that to mostly cast along the leg. So I guess that works. Okay. masculine one. Which is not overly different. Just delete that. Okay. Okay. Here's what we do. Nope. You want it barely visible. That actually mostly covers it, but and this should work. Okay, we've got our shadow speck in normal. We don't worry about emission or color shift mask. I don't even know what that does. Sounds like it could be potentially interesting though. So now we do our colors. Which means we move these up top, set them as overlay. Hit up our not so berry palette. Boop. Duplicate it. Set that one as color. And for our bows and straps, we use whatever the accent was. And I feel like I need another layer here. 50%? Yeah. is way too bright. Maybe this needs to be soft light, not overlay. Multiply? Okay, looks like we need our other test the color line. Boop. Just until average color. Now, I'm not going to remember those numbers for the masculine, so I'm going to take a picture of it on my phone. Oh yeah. Okay. Excellent. Boink. Still kind of bright, but I'll try that again. Oh, that's much better. That's way better. Okay, cool. Except the boat looks kind of messed up down there. Oh. Yeah, let's do that. Oh, I know what we need to do actually. There. That's better. There we go. Yes, perfect. And I'm also gonna add a black because reasons. We'll worry about the tagging later. Something, something, something. Black dresses to a party. Okay. So now what we have to do, turn off the female one. Or the feminine one, at least. And since I'm adding a pattern over the same scheme, what I'm gonna do is while I'm at the pattern, actually let's make some of these a little smaller. Not all of them, because I know as a fact that some don't scale down well. Yeah. Oh gosh, that even needs to be smaller. Is that too small? No, I don't think so. That's a little small. So instead of 25%, we're gonna go for 33%. Yes, much better. And then we're gonna zoom in to where this lines up with the side. Actually, no, we're not. No pattern wraps around perfectly. So that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna delete that. And voila. Or viola for the uncultured. But let's take the hemline. And shift the pattern over just a smidge. So it looks like a hem. Gasp. I goofed. Rude. That. Okay. Take this, let me put it up here. So we still get the preserved colors. Except, oh dear. Oh yeah, that's in the right place. That's fine. See, now we got a cute little mint print. Mint print dress. And thus we proceed with the other colors. Roses, sure to be a hit in your garden parties. Okay. Trying to be active. Okay. And usually I won't return to SimBee until all the colors are done now. Unless it's to check how a texture looks. Let's put the rose over the heart. What the heck? That's right. I was gonna stagger this. Oops. Oops. So confused now. Why isn't it showing up at the top? Ugh. Because I copied the wrong layer. I'm so confused. Oh, because I did that instead of this. It's getting late in the day, guys. Oop. Maybe we dull it just a little. No. Yeah, I can do that, I guess. You know, that's not bad with the roses. I'ma be real. Ah, yes, that's what I needed to do. I'm so confused. Oh, because... What? We don't still have a pattern out. Ah, okay. Wait, hang on. Did that end up with roses? Somehow it did. Oh dear. Okay. Let's check to see if that messed up. Not badly enough to notice. Oops. Okay, that one did though. Ay, ay, ay. Sorry, it looks like the, there we go. The rose print somehow made its way into the straps. So I had to fix that, but... Okay. We got it now. Oh. Color. There we go. Now we get the fabric print for this one, which I believe doesn't need to be shrunk. Yes, it does. I decided to go for bananas for yellow instead of lemons because bananas are technically berries. Bananas. Bonodles. Bononos. To go with your opals. Not sure why you'd ever want a banana print dress, but I am not a sim. And thus, I am immune from judging. Gasp. I did something wrong. Let's fix that. Nope. And this is precisely what I usually do. Meshes and patterns at different times, on different days. But I'm bound and determined to do it all in one stream. Gray dress. Boink. A boink. Delete those. And this can go back to the 50. And this in turn needs to return to the 50. 66. Not 660. Thank you. This is too pleasant, it's making me sleepy. That's also gonna make me sleepy. I mean, I'm already sleepy, it's 11:30. Now, for gray, I couldn't think of a gray fruit. So I went with mushrooms. Because that seemed the thing to do. Okay, it looks like... And I know as a fact the mushrooms are going to be too tiny if I do it much smaller. Yeah. Mushrooms were the closest thing to a gray fruit that I could think of. So... And what truly is a mushroom except the fruit of decay? Which would be an absolutely atrocious name for a brand of anything. Fruit of decay, but you know, it's the truth. We plant the death and the decay, and we let Mother Nature deal with it. And then we get to eat tasty yum-yums of the ground. This is quite a long time to do this. There we go. Actually, I think I'm gonna call it here, guys. I've got D&D in the morning, and there's still quite a few steps left to do, not just texturing, but getting bone assignments and all that. So, if I'm not completely wiped after D&D, I will proceed tomorrow. Let me save everything. Well, not everything. Just the stuff I'm gonna need for sure as is. So good night, everybody. And hopefully I can get some sleep tonight. That'd be cool. Signing off.